Some of these rooms are weird. They really just blocked off half the school. Yeah, somebody camps here. A lot. What is going on here? There's somebody in here. You can just tell this whole room was not really built like this. Definitely some interesting stuff going on there.
Hold it up and just pretend, demented as the motives in your head. I would swallow my pride, I would choke on the rhymes, but the laugh thereof wouldn't hit me inside.
And we're back again here down in the south of Texas, right on the Gulf of Mexico. This time we have another abandoned school. This one served as an elementary school until 1991, and then it was transformed into some sort of alternative school. And I think it's been abandoned since about the early to mid 2000s. So that's what we got going on. Nothing we haven't seen before, so let's go see what's up. There it is over there. Sun's kind of glaring. At least it's not foggy anymore. You should have seen the fog this morning. I drove out here from my hotel. I couldn't even see more than 100 feet in front of my car. It was really weird. There's no fencing, there's no nothing. It just looks like no one cares about it. This is another one of those schools where it's kind of a couple different buildings that don't even connect through hallways. I don't know why. That over there is the main thing. It's the bigger one. This is just some side building that I guess I'll peek inside first just to see if anything's interesting. Just probably alternate classrooms, although this looks like people have been camping in there. A lot of old trash and clothes. There was this other school in this town I was gonna try. One that I was actually kind of excited for, but then I drove by yesterday and it looked like there were actually some dudes like around it. And what I actually think they were doing was boarding it back up. Because when I drove by again today, there was just a bunch of tin covering all the windows. Yesterday I could have sworn there were ways in, but there just weren't this time. So when I drove by and saw all the windows were covered, then I just didn't even bother. I was like, wow, that was bad timing. Either way, let's get over to the main real building. I purposely went over to this side of it first, so that way, once we reach the end of it, we'll get to the gym last, because the gyms are always my favorite. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to climb through this window now. Anyway, that would have been way easier. But oh well. We're going to have a hall branching off that way. Another branching off that way. I think... Actually, I don't know. I forget the layout, but it's not too terribly big. Carpeted classrooms, but doesn't appear to be much left over. I like how each set of lockers was painted a different color. Like the red ones and the yellow ones and the blue ones. Door. A lot of times what I'll find in these little schools is that even if there's not a lot of furniture left, there'll still be like some little decorations or labels up on the wall. So this was their library, and there's still some old bookshelves left over. I don't know if I'm gonna close up on any of these names, but there's still names left on lockers. So that means if this place ended its days back in like the 2000s, how old are like alternative elementary school kids? When I was in 5th grade, I was like 11 or 12. That means all these kids' names on these lockers are probably like in their mid-30s now. Well, look at that. Even the teachers had a set of lockers just for their supplies. They have folders, pencils, markers, watercolors, wet wipes, just all sorts of little classroom materials. And they all got their own locker space out in the hallway. That's kind of odd. So judging by those little red arrows that have been drawn on, what I'm standing on right here must be Miss Lewis's class. And that's showing how you'd get out, I guess. Classroom rules. I don't know why, I always like finding just big maps of any kind in schools like this. See, when I was young, if I was sitting in like history class or something like that, and I was just bored, like maybe I was like 5 minutes early to class, waiting for it to start, like I'd just stare at like a map. I'd be in like history class and I'd pull out like an atlas and I'd just be looking at the whole map of the whole country and all the places like that I'd wish I would go. I guess in a way right now I'm kind of doing that too, because I'm an entire day's drive from home in some completely random place in the country doing this. You are a friend. You are the reason we are here. Love, Miss Cordier, or Cordier, whichever one it is. What a wholesome teacher. What on earth is this doing in here? So you know how sometimes homeless people will just like steal shopping carts just to help them haul stuff away to wherever they stay? This one somehow got away with taking an entire motorized one. Well, you see this? This is what I was talking about. Some like detailed US map like this. Just imagine like a little 13, 14-year-old me being bored in class, staring at one of these, looking at all these different states, all these different towns, and just wishing I could go somewhere new. I've always loved road trips ever since I was a kid. I've flown a time or two, but for some reason, nothing can really compare to like just the spirit of adventure of just driving someplace really far away. So yeah, that was just that corridor, and like, even though there's not a lot in here, like physically, I can really kind of get a sense of just like the overall character of this school. Just like the personal level of it, with all like the student names left up, the teacher names left up, just real personal stuff like that. And this is the office. Wonder which one was the principal's office. It's probably this one. Oh. Maybe it was the nurse. First aid supplies. I think for the most part, the whole point of an alternative school is to help kids who kind of fell behind in like credit hours for whatever reason. It's just a way for them to like catch up to the rest of the curve. There's also that. That wall was not there either. You can just tell that was added later on. They really just blocked off half the school. Maybe it's possible that when the alternative school Alright. What is going on here? Was that out there or was that in here? It sounds like there's someone in here. What I was trying to say is that maybe the alternative school, when it replaced the elementary, was not needing this whole half. So they just walled it off for some reason. That doesn't make sense though, because certainly even an alternative school would use their gym. What is over there? There's somebody in here. Would I be able to get out if I need to? Yeah, we're good. That is for sure somebody. Unless a deer wandered in here. I haven't heard a single noise yet until this. Now it stopped. Unless somebody like just came in here. I just came from that way though. There wasn't anyone. Should we go check it out or just slip through that hole and see the wall off half of it? I don't hear it anymore. There's a bird. Did you see that bird? See, I guess if there's birds flying in and out of here, there could be any sort of animals doing that, but still. That was so weird. I'm just gonna go through this hole. Gee, I'm trying to talk about whatever may be going on here. Suddenly I start hearing loud noises from down the hall where I had just been and didn't see anything. I didn't know what that was. What is this? Huh. What's with all those seats? Is there some sort of stage in here somewhere? And is that not a door? Why have they boarded the door from the inside? Yeah, what's the point? I don't get that. So are these auditorium style seats supposed to be in here? Or did someone just move them here? That's like a little podium stage thing. Maybe this little classroom was turned into like a makeshift auditorium. And that over there is going to be either the gym or the actual auditorium. I can see into there. I already said I was going to save the best for last, so I'll do those at the end. Once I finish with this corridor. I wonder if this half of the building is going to look a little different, considering they just walled it off. Do you think it's possible that two different schools use this building simultaneously? I mean, I don't see why. Seems like that'd be a lot of extra work, but why else would half of it be closed off from the other? Like, I would have had to exit the whole building and just gotten through a different door if people hadn't punched a hole in that drywall. Like a random treadmill and another shopping cart. Why does that look like one of those things that's on the top of telephone poles? Some of these rooms are weird. Like, they all have random single windows back out to the outside. Some of them have exit doors from in there also. And then this little thing that can open up back to the hallway. Like every single classroom, you could just exit the building from in the classroom. Wow. This is the only room in the whole building where I've actually seen old school furniture left. Not only that, but there were just play toys everywhere. I covered that hallway, so let's go see that gym. It's either going to be a gym or some sort of auditorium thing. Even this door had a big board put on it at one point. That's really strange. This ain't quite what I thought. Oh, yeah, here's what I was seeing before. Yeah, this is more of a stage. I'm on a stage right now. Unless they just lined up all those seats. Then maybe those auditorium chairs were actually in here. You know, I just realized this whole thing is a massive tent. Just luckily there's nobody home right now. Yeah, somebody camps here. A lot. That's actually kind of scary though. How I just walked in here right behind it, and it took me a second to even notice what it was. There could have been someone laying right in there. You can just tell this whole room was not really built like this. All that drywall over there, it looks like it was added on. This whole thing was definitely built later on. It's a lot fresher wood. What a weird design. Look at that. There was... When they put up all this drywall, they covered up a bunch of windows too. But then it almost looks like they cut out the drywall itself so that they could still see out the windows, but just left the big metal beams up. That's weird. What is going on back here? There's a big piano. Huh. I don't know. All I know is that someone's been camping here a lot. So, I do now have a new theory. Perhaps there was a church that took over at least this half of the building at one point. Because that little stage out there and this whole little setup with the chairs, that does kind of give off like church worship hall vibes. And then when I was back here, I just found this, the pastor's study. So this was, I guess, some sort of pastor's space. Jeez. Again, it's someone's campsite. This building definitely had its share of different purposes and uses through the years. Elementary, alternative school, possibly even church by the looks of this. So yeah, where I initially thought this was going to be a gym, it turned out to be this. Well, who's to say there wasn't a gym at one point in here either way, considering maybe this whole place just got renovated for this purpose. Alright, we will go out the easy and convenient one. That was that. Definitely some interesting stuff going on there. You know, sometimes doing places like that where the old history of it, you know, the property records, whatever you can find is kind of vague and unhelpful, are actually fun to do because you get in there and you kind of piece it together yourself what was probably going on. So that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I will see you in the next one here on this Texas trip.